Hello friends, welcome back. So in this session we will learn JUnit parameterized test case, test category, test shoot, test timeout and test rules. So first we will learn JUnit parameterized test case. So what is parameterized test case? Running test case with parameterized is nothing but running test case with different inputs, or we can say like that, executing the same test case with different inputs called parameterized test case. JUnit provide a parameterized test feature which allow us to run the same test multiple time with the different inputs. So before to see this parameterized test case, let's see the previous test case where we need actually. Suppose here if you see, previously we have created this test case for MathUTL class. In this MathUTL class, if you see, in this MathUTL class currently we have these two method, and that method we have to test against the inputs, against different input. Currently what we are doing in our test case, we are testing this method only for one input. That input is 7 and 3, and for 7 and 3 sum will be 10 and multiplication will be 21. So we are testing only for this one value. But what if I want to test this same test case with the different values? So how I can achieve that one? We can achieve that using parameterized test case. So parameterized test case means these two annotations can be used to run the test case as a parameterized test case. One is run with. This is one annotation that we have to mark on class level, on the test class, that we have to mark this annotation. And parameterized, these parameters we have to mark on one static method. So here are the steps that we have to use. Suppose first one is, what is the first one? Mark the test class with run with parameterized dot class, with dot class annotation. This is the first step. First we have to mark our test class with annotation run with parameterized class. Second one, what we have to do? Create the instance variable for each input output of test data. Suppose you, in your test case, how many inputs are required? So those inputs, for those inputs you have to declare the variables into your test class, and then you have to create one public constructor for the test case, for the test class, that takes all the variable as parameter. So how many variables we have declared here? For that variables you have to create one constructor that will take these parameter as a value, as the parameter, and that parameter you will set into this constructor. And in fourth one, what you have to do? You have to create one public static method, that return the collection of object of specific type of array or object type of array, and mark that method with @parameters annotation, that return a collection of object as an array as the test data set. And the last step is create your test cases, that we, as usual, how we have creating. So let's see the example now. So currently what we are doing in our previous test case of MathUTL test, we are just creating one MathUTL object here, and we have created these two test cases. That one test case for sum, another one for multiplication, and we are checking for one value. But I want these test case to be run for multiple time. How many inputs, whatever I want, I will specify those inputs and it will run that much time. So how it is possible? That is possible through parameterized test case only. So this is our parameterized test case. This is our parameterized test case. Here if you see, this is our first step. We have to mark this annotation on class level. Run with parameterized dot class. This one. Mark the test class with run with parameterized dot class annotation. So here we have marked this one, and if you see, this annotation is available under runner, JUnit runner. Under this runner, this run with annotation is available, and that annotation is taking one parameter. That parameter is runner parameterized parameterized type. This is one class. Okay, and this is the first step. Second step, what we have to do? If you observe this test case here, what are the inputs? Two inputs, one x and y. You can see like that. Two numbers are there. One is a or b. You can say a or b, means this first number and second number. This is the one input. This is two input variables. One is x and one is y. You can say a or b, x, y, lm, op, anything, whatever your choice. Okay, but this 2 is an input. This 2 is a input for this method, and this 2 variable we need, and one variable we need. This is a result. That result is for both. One variable for the multiplication of these two number, and one variable for sum of these two number. So two. One is sum and another one is a multiplication. Sorry, this is multiplication. One is sum and one is multiplication. That's it. So these 4 variables we need here. So what we did the same thing here. We have given the 4 variables. One is x, one is y. X and y is nothing. These values. You just consider this is x. This first one is x and this one is y. Here the same thing, no? This is first one is x and this one is a y. So that we have declared here x and y, and this one and this x and y sum of, if we are sending this input into sum of method, it is returning one value. That is the result. That result you call at a sum. You call as a sum. So we have declared one variable for sum, and another one is multiplication for that multiplication of a method. This is also returning the multiplication of two numbers. So that two number we are storing into one variable. So this is the one variable we have given for this one, and this is the second step that we have completed here. In the third one, if you see, create a public constructor. Create a public constructor for all the for the test case that takes all the variable as parameters. So all the variable means it will take x, y, sum and multiplication. It is taking. And what I am doing here, I am creating one object of mathutl or if you want to do this, make this as a static, you can do that also, no issue, or you can give here. That is up to your choice. However you want, you can give to this into @ before class, like that you can do. That is up to your choice. Currently I am giving here only. Okay, and here x and y I am initializing with the corresponding value, sum, multiplication. So this is, you can understand very clearly, this is just constructor that is initializing these variables. So this is our second step. This is our second step. This is our third step. In the third step we have created the constructor. We have created the constructor with all the parameters. And the fourth one is, that is important. Fourth one is this one. What we have to do, we have to create a public static method that return collection of object or specific type array. So here we have did the same thing. We have declared one static method. static method of a public type that is returning a collection of integer array, that is returning the collection, or that, or you can say that is returning a list of integer array. That's it. And that we have to mark with @parameters annotation. Here if you see, mark that method with @param annotation that return a collection of object as array, collection of object, or you can say this is a collection of object only. Object can be anything, but here it has to return collection of object array. It is saying here object, collection of object as array. Okay, so as array we are returning here. That is up to our choice, however we want. You can create the list, into that list however you want to add, that is up to your choice. Currently what I am doing, I am creating here two-dimensional array, and that two-dimensional array I am converting to list with the help of arrays class, that we have already seen. This we have already seen in the collection API. What is the use of arrays, what is the use of collections class, that we have already seen. So it is returning a collection of, it is returning a list of this type. That's it, list of integer array. Okay, so here this is fine. So here if you see, this is our last step, fourth one. In the third step we have created the constructor with all the variables, and here we have declared all the variables that can be for input and output both, and here we have declared the class with, we have marked the class with run with parameterized.class annotation. So now how the execution will happen. So here this is the test case, here the test cases that we have written. If you see here, what we are doing here, we are using this .x and this .y. This .x is nothing but this one, simple. This .x and this .y, simple, this one. Here sum, so here this is a sum, this is sum, this is a multi, you can give this name is a multiplication. This is just copy pasted, because of that it is coming like the number. So this is the multiplication, this multiplication, it should be equal to this multiplication, simple. So now here how exactly the execution will happen. Every time your JUnit API is taking this method as an input, and your JUnit API is creating the object for mathUtilTest to run the method for every time. If you have to execute one time your test case, one object will be created for mathUtilTest case with this value. Second time object will be created with these value. Third time object will be created for these values. Like that it will goes. After creating the object, your JUnit will call these methods with, and just call these method, nothing more than that, because internally whatever the implementation you have written, it will execute accordingly, simple. So just it has to execute the methods whatever you have marked with @test annotation. So first time it will take this parameter, second time it will take these parameter, like that it will goes, like that it will go. So if I run this one, you will see the output. Yes, so if you see here how many times it is running, 6 times. If you see why it is coming 6 times, because 6 inputs you have defined it separately, and all the test cases are passed. Now this, inside this class you can say 6 test cases are there. Oh sorry, not 6, 12. You can say 12 test cases are executed. 6 inputs are there, 1 2 3 4 5 6 inputs are there, but for one input 2 methods are executing. Sum of test, multiplication of test, sum of test, multiplication of test, all that. If you want to add the new input, the simply just you have to add here, like 4 into 3, how much it will be? 7. sum is 7, but multiplication is this one 12. Simple, and just run. Now you no need how many inputs, whatever you want you can give here, all that inputs it will take and it will be executed. So this is called parameterized test case, running with different inputs. Running test case with parameterized is nothing but running test case with the different inputs. That's it. So this is called parameterized test case. Okay, next one is the test category. Okay, so what does it mean of test category? What is test category? Suppose test category can be used to group the test case based on their types. Types means type in the sense, so test category is nothing but the group of test case based on their type or function or behavior, or whether that is a negative test case or positive test cases. However, so suppose to if you see this test case that we have, that we have written in previous test cases, a data repository test case 3. So here if you see here if you see this is our test case, this is our test case. So what type of test case it is? This is a negative test case. This is a negative test case. Because why it is a negative? If I run this one, this will be this will be passed. Yes, it is passing successfully, but this is a negative test case. Negative test case in the sense it is throwing the exception. If you see here, this is throwing the exception, it is not checking for the other part, it is not checking for the other part. So if I write this same test case for a different one, suppose if I give here test case, this is test case 2, this is test case 1 only, but this time this is not negative test case, this is a positive test case. Suppose ID 0001, same only. In that case it will return a string data something simply, and that you can check against your assertion. Assert not null. So this data should not be null. So now if you see this, both test cases will be passed here. Why? Because this both test cases are satisfying the conditions, but it has some category that can be categorized. If you see, the both test cases are passed here, but the both test cases are different in nature. How? This one is for positive test case, this one is for negative test case. Negative means either it is returning null, or either it is a throwing exception, or some negative value. For negative test case we are writing. So this is the use of test category here. So we have to define the category, like I want to execute only the negative test case, I want to execute the positive test case, so we can do that one. So to do that one, what we have to do first, we have to define the category first. So how we can define the category, how to create the category for the test case? So define the category by creating a class or interface we can do. So the category can be defined using by creating class or by creating interface, and mark the test case method of the test with @category annotation, and here you have to give the type. Type means whatever the type we have defined. We can create the category by class, by creating class, or by interface, by creating interface. It will be considered as a category only, and that category you can tell when you are declaring the test case. On top of the test case you can mark this annotation, and the test case will be considered of that type only. create another Java class that run the test shoot. Here, to run the test case separately, you need test shoot, so that what benefit you will get while you are using test shoot, because you have the control. In that case, you have a control which test case you want to run. So either you want to run positive test case or you want to run negative test case. What type of test case you want to execute, you can execute using that one. So mark this class with @run with categories dot class. Categories dot class we have to mark, same as how we are running in previously, run with parameterizer, but now we have to run with categories, and that category we will define on top of test class. And if we want to include the category, suppose I want to execute particular type of category, so I can use include categories. In that one I can specify as an array multiple types, and we can exclude the category by excluding category also, and add the test classes that need to be run as a shoot by using @shoot class. So these classes will be added on top of your test class only. So suppose here what we did, here what we are doing, we are executing two types of test cases. One is positive, one is negative. So what we did, we created two categories here. If you see here, I have created two categories, negative test case, another one is a positive test case. Simple. Negative test case, this is a just class negative test case, and positive test case, that is nothing but just an interface. Okay, so what we have to do now, suppose this one I want, this one is a positive test case and this one is a negative test case. So I can mark that one. I have marked in the data repository test 4. So here you can see what we did here. Category, this is positive test case. Oh sorry, this is also negative test case, because what is this one, this is throwing an exception. This is positive test case, this is a positive test case, and this also is positive test case. So this one is positive test case, this one is positive test case, but this one is a negative test case. Sorry, it's up to you, because you have to see which one is negative test case, which one is positive test case, or it is not like that. You can define these two type of category, negative test case or positive. Negative test case, positive test case, small test case, big test case, like that. Whatever ABC category name, you can give ABC also, abc.class, and that ABC you can mark here whatever you want. So currently if you see here, we have defined 3 test cases. In this one, this is a positive test case, because it is returning one data, that's why it's a positive. It is throwing an exception, that's why it is a negative test case. And this one is also a positive test case, because it is returning a list, and that list has item Delhi also. So this is a positive test case. Okay, in the same way I think we have given for other classes also. If you see, no, not in this one. Okay, yes, if you see here, array util test 2. So here also we have defined some negative test case and positive test case. So this one, find element. So find element means which element? 3. So 3 is available into this array. 3 is available into this array. So that's why this is a positive test case. Obviously this 3 is there, but find element 8, but 8 is not there in this array. So this what type of test this is? This is a negative test case. This is a negative test case. I am searching for the element that is not there. I want to check this method in reverse order. First I am testing this method whether this is finding the exact element or not. Yeah, this element is there, this is finding. So that's why this is a positive test case. test case. Okay, sorry, this name we need to change. I think it is test case. Sorry, TEST, test case. Okay, okay, test case. So so this is positive test case. Test case. Okay. So this is the positive test case, and this is negative test case. This is also positive test case. Why? Because this is shorting the element. Shorting element, that will be positive only. Either it is shorted, it is not shorted, it doesn't feel anything from that one. So that's why this is the positive only, and this one is also positive because array, input array has a 7. Yes, this has a 7 element, so this is why it's a positive test case. This is a positive test case. Has element 9. What type of element it is? This is a negative test case, but currently we are ignoring this one. But still, if you want to mark, give that annotation, you can give, no issue. But currently this is a negative test case. Okay, this is our negative test case. Yes. Okay, because this array don't have 9, and this one is okay, this one is a positive because this array has a 7. Correct. Yes. Okay, so this is the case that we have defined here. I think that also we have to change because that name is something different. Okay, how many places? Okay, sorry. Okay. So this is the test cases that we are using into these two files. Which files? One is data repository test 4. We have defined the categories for test case, and one is array util test 2. Inside this one also we have defined some categories for our test. So we want to run only these two files, and from this file I want to run only the negative test case or only the positive test case. So to do that one, what we have to do, we have to create another Java test class that run the test shoot and run with @categories dot. So here we have did the same thing. If you see here, sorry, in that one naming is giving. Okay, yes. So here this is our test shoot. If you see this test shoot, what we are doing, we are marking this class with run with categories dot class. Yes, run with categories dot class. Sorry, run with categories dot class. And after that one, what we are doing, we are including the category. Which category we are including? Positive test case and negative test case, both we are including, but I am excluding negative category. So it will execute only the positive, it will not execute the negative. And the classes which has the categories, in which test class we have added the category annotations, we have to give all the classes here. If it is a more than 1 or 2 or 3, you can give like that, n number of classes. You can give here one class dot java, something like that, sorry, dot class, like that. You can give n number of classes, no issue. This is an array. So currently we have only 2 classes, so we are giving these 2 classes here, and this is our exclude category. We want to exclude negative test case, I want to exclude, I want to execute only positive test case, so it will execute those test cases. And that negative and positive test case we have added into data repository test 4 and array util test 2, and in that classes we are marking here. And if I run this one, you will see only the positive test cases will be running. Yes, if you see here, how many positive test cases are available under array test util, array util test 2. Under array test util 2, how many positive test cases are there? 1, 2, 3. So 3 positive test cases are there. Yes, so 3 positive test cases are there and 3 positive test cases is running. One is has element, find element test, find element test, short test and has element test 2. So these are the positive test case, and 2 positive test cases are available under data repository test 4. Yes, data repository test 4. So here if you see, only 2 positive test cases are there, 1 negative test cases is there. So I am running only here, I am running only the positive test case, because the negative test case I am excluding, so it will not run that one. And 2 test cases that are available under data repository test, that is running here, here you can see only 2 are there, these 2, get object test and get objects test. Okay, and if I want to run all the test cases, then in that case I just comment this one and I will run this test case again, and you will see all the test cases will run now, either negative or either positive. Here if you see, number will be more, see, number will be more. This test case is not executing because why? This test case also has the annotation at the rate negative category negative, but that is marked with ignore, that's why it is not executing. If you see here, this test case, yes, has element test, this is marked with ignore, that's why it is coming like that, it is ignored, it's not executing. Okay, so like that we can create the category for test shoot, and category is nothing but the group. Here we are grouping, if you see here we are grouping, this is these 2 test cases belonging to one group only, and these are remaining 2-3 methods that is belonging to a different group. One is negative, one is positive, or group A, B, C, anything, whatever the name you think that is suitable for your application, you can give that name. So that is nothing but the test category. You can define the category in this way, and you can execute the category according to your choice, which category you want to execute, which one you want to exclude, which one you want to include, that is you will go get the control for that one. Okay, so like that you can use the test category. And the next one is test shoot. What is test shoot? Test shoot is nothing but similarly how we can run the test classes. Simply suppose run with, that we have already seen, but inside now run with we have to give the shoot dot class. Why? Because we have to run the test classes, not one class. Currently what we are doing, if you see here in this category shoot, this is also test shoot only, this is also shoot only, category shoot we are giving the name. This is also running how many classes? 2 classes, and from these 2 classes only few cases according to category this test shoot is executing the classes. This is also a shoot only, but this shoot is executing these 2 files, and from these 2 files only few test case is executing. Because of this include category and exclude category, if we are giving exclude category, it will exclude that test case, negative test case, only positive it will include, it will execute. If I will give here positive test case, then only negative test case it will execute. So like that this can be used. So in the same way, test shoot is nothing but that can be used to execute the multiple test classes. See, test shoot class can be used to combine multiple test case classes into a single test case class, And to run the multiple test case classes, test shoot can be defined as following. So one thing you have to give run with, and run with, before what we are giving categories or parameterized. Parameterized mean you want to run that class as a parameterized test case, then we can give here parameterized. If we want to execute that test shoot as a category, then we have to give categories here. If we want to run as a shoot, then we have to give here shoot.class, and inside the shoot classes, this is same as this only, this is our shoot classes only. So here whatever the classes 2, 3, 5 n number of classes you can specify here, and that classes will be executed. Okay, so this is about the test shoot. Here we have created the example also, I think. Wait, so this is our test shoot classes. So here if you see how many test classes are there currently, so many. We have written so many test classes, but currently we are executing array util test 2, data repository test 4, match util test 2 only. So that just it will run these classes only, simply, that's it. So here if you see, it is executing this one. So this in this shoot test shoot class, further 3 classes are there. In this class these many tests are available. In this one how many tests is available? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there, 3 is there, and here 12 are there, I think, because 7 time it is execute 7 time it is executing, and in one test case 2 test cases are executing 2 times. So total how many test cases will be? 14 test cases will be there. Okay, so like that you can use test shoot also. So to run this, to use the test shoot, you have to mark the annotation test class with the run with shoot.class, and inside shoot classes you can give n number of test cases classes. Okay, next one is a timeout. What is the meaning of timeout? Suppose timeout is nothing but that help you to test the method performance at execution time. Suppose sometime you are making some registration application, or you are making some transaction by sending the amount from one bank to another bank. You know how much time it should take, maximum 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's it, or 1 minute, 2 minutes, or seconds you can give. So that much time, if your test case is passed within that much of time, then your test case will be considered as passed, otherwise your test case will be failed. So like that, just you can specify the test case timeout. Suppose we will see the example also. So here if you see math util, or okay, go with array utility test only. So here if you see, this is array utility, and here we are using short method. Okay, so this is shorting the, so we know this shorting will not take much time, so I can specify here timeout also. Suppose 0001, so this is very small time actually. You cannot I think this will not be executed in this much time, so I think this will be failed in that case. If I run this one, you will see whether this is passing or failed. I think yes. Here if you see the short time, it is because this time is very small. This shorting operation will not be completed within this much of time. So here if you see, this test case is failed. Why? Test timed out after 1 millisecond. In 1 millisecond this operation will not be finished. You have to give some time. I think this one will be fine. I think 100 millisecond. Yes, now it is fine, because it should not take more than to that much only. Max time, this one I am giving, this is the max time to execute this method, to check the performance, whether your method, whether your function or method is working good in term of performance also. So that's why you can specify here timeout. If your timeout is failed, then definitely that method has to be re-implemented, or that code has to be checked whether it is not working according to the requirement, because that is also not good practice. To write the code means that code is taking more time to execute. No one will prefer this type of application. So that's why while writing the code, you have to keep in mind always, just keep your code short and clean as much as possible, so that it will be executed fast. It will not take much time in term of performance. So that's why this test case, in this test case you can specify timeout also, so that in that case, till that this test case will not be passed, it will be considered as your code is not implemented or it's not working as per the requirement. So like that you can specify timeout also. Okay, next one is the test rules. What is test rules? Rules are nothing but for you can specify some rule for your test case that should be executed before to executing the rule. Suppose if you take the example of exception case, when the exception is coming, so while getting the exception, what we want to do, we want to get the message of that exception. Then how it is possible? You have to define the rule, or rule for timeout also you can specify the rule. Suppose for all the methods you want to specify the timeout, then you can specify the timeout rule in this way also. That is also fine. This is also a rule. Just you have to mark that variable @ with @ rule annotation. Suppose here if you see rule, my rule, this is by implementing the rest you can create your rule. These are the inbuilt rules. Some other rules are also, you can check that one. So these are the rules that is defined into this classes inbuilt, and custom rule you can define in this way. So first we will see this inbuilt rule example. So that inbuilt rule we have given into this one, I think. Yes. So this is two rules we have defined for this class into this data repository test 5. So this is one rule expected. So this rule every time will be executed before to executing this method. This, if you see, only one test case is there, and whenever this test case is executing, this rule will be executed. And what this rule is saying, this is just creating one exception. This is a rule only, expected exception. Where this is expected exception is available, that is under org.junit.rules. Under this one, this rule is available, and using this rule, what you can do here, if you see currently this get object, if you see this get object method is throwing an exception. This is throwing an exception in this case because this id is null here. If you see this, if this id is null, if this id is null, if this id is null, then only it is throwing my custom exception. And here in this line definitely you will get the exception, but that exception is not, we are catching here as an expected. We are not catching here at all. So how this test case will be passed? You want to get the message, so throw dot expected, which one? This one, and from that one you are expecting the message. Which message? This message. So like that you can get the message, and this one is the timeout for that one also. So this both rule, if it is satisfying, then this test case will be considered as a passed. If I will give here as a 1, I think this test case also will not be passed in that case. So it will be failed. Yes, definitely it is failed. It's not passing because this is the rule. That rule, whatever you are defining here, that will be executed before to executing any of the rule. That is the meaning of this rule here. Whatever the rule if you give, that will be applied for the test cases by default, and that rule, if it is not satisfying, this test case will not be passed. So like that you can use the rule, timeout, expected exception, or if you want to create any custom rule, then you can create the rules in this way by implementing test rule or by extending external resource class. By implementing test rule interface. This is an interface, and in this interface one method is there, that is apply, that has to be overridden, and after overriding this one you can give your implementation. So this implementation will be executed. This implementation will be executed whenever this rule will be called. Simple. Or using external resource also you can do. Inside external resource also the same method is available. Here it is a statement, here is a description, and you can give the implementation in this way also, or as per your requirement, as per your need, you can define your rule implementation here. It will be executed. So like that you can create test rules. Okay, so this is all about the parameterized test case, test category, test shoot, test timeout, and test rule. Okay, and in the next session we will see code coverage in JUnit. So I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my channel and we will see you in the next session. Till that, bye bye and thanks for watching.